afternoon to all. Today I will discuss about the metal joining methods, unit 3, and at end of this course the student will able to learn about the distinguished between the different joining methods. And under 3 units, number of contents are there. First, introduction to welding processes, containing in that introduction part classification of welding process, types of welding joints and their characteristics. Now second one, gas welding, different types of flames, then oxyacetylene welding and cutting. Third one, arc welding, basic principle of basic principle of arc welding, VI characteristics, voltage current characteristics curves of power source and problems on VI characteristics, duty cycle, MMAW, manual metal arc welding, submerged arc welding, tungsten inert gas welding and metal inert gas welding. Fourth one, solid state welding process, friction welding, friction stir welding, forge welding, explosive welding, thermite welding, plasma arc welding and laser beam welding, electron beam welding, soldering, brazing operations and resistance welding and its types and heat affected zone of the different welding. Welding defects, cause and remedies and testing destructive and non-destructive welds. That are the contents under unit 3. Now first one is introduction to welding process. And end of this lecture the student will able to learn classification of welding process and types of welding joint and their characteristics. First one, what is welding? Welding is a joining method of different metallic components with or without application of pressure and with or without application of heat and or with or without application of filler material. That is the welding. So different welding methods are there. First one, main welding process used in general engineering. First one, plastic or pressure welding under pressure without addition of filler material. Second one, fusion. No pressure we have added in that welding process but with the addition of filler material. First one, pressure, heat created, and due to providing pressure sometimes heat will be created and at the joining points, joining surface, the metal will be melted and then it will be joined. First one, blacksmith fire, electric current and chemical reaction. Under blacksmith operation, the forge welding, and under forge welding, fourth operation is there, lap welding, butt welding, V welding and T-type welding. Under electric current, resistance welding is there, and under resistance welding, spot welding, projection welding, seam welding, butt welding, under butt welding, offset welding and flash welding, and last one is percussion welding process. And in case of chemical reaction, we have seen that the under this category thermite welding with pressure is there, and in case of fusion welding, heat will be created in that operation also. Under this category, gas welding, electric arc welding and chemical reactions. And under gas welding, the oxyacetylene welding, air acetylene, oxy other fuel just at high pressure, low pressure. And under electric arc welding, that is the arc welding, and under arc welding there are some subcategories: metal arc welding, carbon arc welding, tungsten arc, argon arc, submerged arc, atomic hydrogen gas welding. And last one, chemical reactions. Under this category, thermite welding without pressure. That are the types of welding processes. why we use the different welding symbols? So what is the requirements? Requirements to communicate the information about welding without any ambiguity to all those who are involved in various steps of fabrications of successful welding joints in different manufacturing industries. For that things, the standard symbols and methodology are required in case of testing of the welding, for the testing purpose of the welding. So to assist this in this case, the some standard symbols and methodology we have used for the welding for testing purpose. So we are seeing that are the basic welding symbols. First one is the billet, that is the billet symbol. Another is the fillet symbol. Then plug or slot symbol. Then square symbol, that is the V-type symbol, V-bell symbol, U-type symbol, then J-type symbol, then flower V weld type symbol, then flower V-bell type symbol. That are the different welding symbols we have used to communicate the information about welding without ambiguity those who are employed in fabrication industries, in the welding fabrication industries. In case of type of welding joints, so in that cases we are use different types of welding joints. First one is bar joint. In case of bar joint, we are, what happened, the plates are kept same horizontal plane and aligned with maximum deviation we are taken up to 5 degree. Okay, all the plates are kept in horizontally. Another is lap joint. Just plates overlapping each other, means one plate kept other plate just overlap way, means plates are overlap each other. Okay. Another corner joint, means in that cases two plates are kept across each corner positions, means in that way we kept the plates, one plate and two plates, means we have joint at corner position. Another edge joint, means two plates are kept in this way, two plates are kept in that way and joined across the edge. Across the edge we have joined that two plates, means that is the edge joints. Another is T joint, T-type joint, means we are taking the shape of that type, means that is one plate, that is another plate, means across the T section we have joined that plate, means one plate is approximately perpendicular to another, means in that way we have joined different plates, means use bar joint, lap joint, corner joint, edge joint, T joint, different joint we have used for welding purpose. Now we are seeing that in case of first one, bar joint, that is the we are used, that is the bar joint. A, that is the bar joint. Then another B, that are the lap joint, that shows the lap joint. That joint shows the T corner joint. That joint shows the corner joint. In that faces we have do the weld. We do the weld in that face. We do the weld in that face. Okay. We do the welding in that face. We do the welding in that face. We do the welding in that face. Okay. We do the welding in that face. That is the bar joint, that is the lap joint, and that is the corner joint. And now that is the edge joint, means across the edge we do the welding. Across the edge we do the welding. Across the edge we do the welding, means in that zone we do the welding. Another is edge joint. Last one is T joint, means we do the welding this zone. We do the welding this zone. Okay, means written weld. Weld means in that surfaces we are doing the welding. Now types of weld, different types of welding is there. First one is groove weld. That type of weld is called groove weld. Different types of weld. That weld is groove weld. Means two plates we are kept, and across that surface we welded. That means we are melting at that surface. After melting, we do complete the welding. After solidification, these two plates are joining by that shape. Okay, that is the groove welding. Then another fillet welding. In that cases we are keeping in that way, that is the plate 1 and that is the plate 2, and in that zone we do the welding. Means after melting that metal, then we do the welding in that particular zone. Means in that surface we do the welding, then other surface, in that surface we do the welding. Okay, that is the fillet welding. Now third one is the plug welding. Means two plates we have keeping, that is the plate 1 and that is the plate 2. Means both plates we have kept, and then we create one hole, and due to creation of that hole, then we do the welding across that particular hole. Means we melted in that particular zone. After melting, then we connected or we attached both plates with the use of welding applications. Then another is bead or bead type welding. That is also another plug type welding. That is also plate 1 and that is the plate 2. Using plug type welding means here we melting that parent metal. After melting the parent metal, both molten metal, means melting, after melting that both the plate will be melted, and after sometimes it will be solidified, and then both the metal will be joined. Another bead on plate means after welding, after melting on the parent metal, some metal will be accumulated. Due to accumulation of that molten metal, that in that way they are accumulated. In that way they are accumulated. Means that accumulated welding part, melting part, that is called bead. That is called bead. That is the bead type on the plate. 5 welding positions. Okay, generally 4 types of welding positions we are discussing. First one, arrow that are showing the directions of the motion of the electrode. Means that are the directions. Arrow shows the welding directions. Means welding torch will be goes in that way. Welding torch will be goes in that way and do the welding across this line. Okay, actually this torch like normal to that directions. Means this torch means across this face we are seeing that arrow shows the as like normal position, as like normal position. So that is the overhead position. Okay, that is the flat position. We are seeing that is the flat position. That is the horizontal position, and that is the vertical up, and that is the vertical down. Means if we are using that positions, so we taking different plates, and using different plates we do the welding across these positions also. Now we are coming to first one, flat positions. Means here axis on weld, here we are seeing that axis of weld are vertical. So means in that plate, that is the plate 1 and that is the plate 2, we kept in that way. Okay, we are kept in that way, and means across these positions we do the welding. Okay, that is the flat position. Another is horizontal positions. Means that is the one plate and that is the plate 2. That plate kept horizontal on the earth, and other plate kept vertically. That plate kept vertically. Okay, and axis of the weld horizontal. That is the axis of the weld. That is the horizontal. Okay, and across the horizontal positions we do the welding. Across the horizontal position we do the welding. And in case of vertical positions, we are seeing that plate will be kept vertically. That plate 1 kept vertically. Okay. Other plate also kept vertically. Other plate also, plate 2 also kept vertically. So that is the axis of the weld. That axis of the weld is a vertical, means perpendicular to the earth. So due to that things, we are doing the welding in that particular positions, means vertical positions we have done the welding. Okay. Now another is overhead positions. Using that things means one plate kept in that way. Okay. One plate is kept in that way. Okay, means maybe that is parallel to the earth. Okay, then another plate will be kept vertically. Another plate will be kept vertically. Means overhead. Means that plate will be kept in that positions. Other plate kept in that positions. Means that is the parallel to the earth, and other plate kept vertically. Means across with respect to the earth. So and in that positions we do the welding. Means that is the overhead positions. Means that is the 4 types of weld positions. So some specific welding terminology is there. So what are the terminology? First one, ripple. Ripple. What is ripple? Ripple is called shape of the bead. Ripple means shape of the beads. Means accumulating of the molten metal to the weld surface or weld zone. Pass. Each layer of the welding bead deposited. Means each layer of the weld bead deposited. Means we are taking the welding torch parallelly or horizontally or vertically or overhead positions. So in that moving on that particular torch, the molten metal will be accumulated in the weld surface, weld face. Okay, means each layer of the weld bead deposited. Next one, crater. Crater means dispersion in the base metal. Means when we are taking the welding torch or we moving the welding torch, and in that weld face, some dispersion will be created to that weld face. Another, penetration, depth of the fusion. Means when we using the welding torch and it will be take to the weld face, and in that positions some material will be melted, and due to melting some depth will be created. Means due to fusion some depth will be created to that welding spaces. Some depth will be created to that weld faces. Means some depth of fusion with metal. That is the penetration. Arc length. Arc length means distance between electrode to metals. If we are taking, that is the metal plate, that are taking as a metal plate. Okay, welding torch here, welding torch, that is the, you consider that is the welding torch. Means that distance is called arc length. That distance is called arc length. Another, weld face. What is the weld face? That is the weld face. Means if we are considering, that is the plate, one plate, that is the vertical plate, and that is the horizontal plate. That is the horizontal plate. That is the horizontal plate. So due to that thing, if we are welding to that particular positions, we are doing the welding in that particular position. So in that face is the weld face. That face is the weld face. Okay, that is the weld face. What is the root of the exposed surface of the weld? What is the root? Root surface is that is the root surface. Means that is the main welding face. That is the main welding face. Means that is the root surface. That is the joint root. Means that is the main joint root. That is the main joint root. And that is the, after welding, some depth will be created. Some depth will be created. Means that is the weld root. That is the weld root. Okay. Another, toe, where the face meets metal. Means that is the toe position. That is the face, means where the face meets metal. Face means weld surface. That is the weld surface. So weld surface meets the metal. Meets that metal. Meets here. Means that is the weld toe. That is the weld toe. Okay, that is a lake. What is the lake? Distance between toe and root. If it is toe and it is the root, that is the lake. That is the lake between, means that is called weld lake. Now porosity, during welding time some voids will be created. Some voids would be, means void gas pockets in the weld, means some gas entrainments occurs, and due to some voids will be created during welding time. That is the porosity. Post heating means heating after welding. After welding we do some heating, means that is called post heating. Then preheating, heating before welding. Sometimes we provide the heat before welding, that is called preheating. Spatter, metal particles deposited during welding, means that is called spatter, or expelled during welding, that is called spatter. Okay, waving, back and forth movement of the welding torch, back and forth movement of the welding, that is called waving. Okay, that is undercut means toe below the metal surface. Toe below the metal surface means toe, we know that is the toe. When welding has been done, means cut toe below the metal surface. If undercut means if that toe below the metal surface, that toe is the below the metal surface, that is called undercut. Okay, and another is overlap, the above the metal surface. If toe is below the metal surface, that is called undercut. If that toe is above the metal surface, that is called overlap. Both term, that is the both term, overlap and undercut. And that fillet weld, just two metals at angle other than flat. Fillet weld means if we are kept two plates at angle, if we kept the two metal plates at angle, particular angle, so other than flat, we do not kept flat positions, we kept particular angle positions. So that is, then if we are doing the welding operation, that type of weld is called fillet weld. Then casting, molten steel in a mold. Molten steel we have used in a operation, that is called casting. Forge welding. Forge welding means heat metal up and pin it together. Mean in case of arc welding, in case of forge welding, what happens? Now we heat the metal. After heating the metal, then we provide some particular shape as per our requirements, means pin it together. After pinning, then it will take the particular shape as per requirement. Another is arc welding, using electricity. We use using some electricity, we create some arc between electrode and metal. Then due to creation of the arc, the metal will be melted, then the plates will be joined. Fusion welding. Welding without means we do some melting. We do some melting to the particular parent metal, and after melting, the both metals will be joined. Okay, without filler, welding without filler material, that is called fusion welding. Brazing, melt bronze and not base metal. Means brazing means we melt the bronze material. After melting the bronze material, we join two other pieces, not base metal to joint. Okay. Now oxyacetylene welding, in that cases fuel used to heat the metal, means here we use some fuel for heating the metal, and it will help to melt the metal. After melting the metal, the welding operation has been done. Heat treatment, heating the metal to relieve the stresses, means we for relieving the stresses to that particular metal, we are doing some heating operations, mean heat treatment operation we have done to that particular metal surface. Tempering means we have provided certain temperature and then quenching operation also we have done to that particular metal plate as per our requirement, that is called tempering. Annealing, for removing the temper makes it elastic. Removing the temper we have used the annealing operation. Hardening, so when we added the carbon material, then hardness of that particular metal surface increases, that is called hardening operation. Slack, some impurities will be added to that particular melting operations to avoid the oxide formation. To avoid for deoxidizing, we are using some slag to the welding operation. Welding rod. Welding rod means filler material. Welding rod means filler material. Another is oil metal. Oil metal means part of the base metal that has melted. Part of the metal that has melted. That is the oiled metal. Bead metal means deposited metal. Bead metal means deposited metal. Base metal means original metal being joined. Means we have used some original material, original metal plate. We want to join them plate. Upsetting, removing stresses in metal by pinning. Means upsetting means we remove the stresses by pinning operation. Flux, provides flux. Why we use the flux? Flux has been used to keep oxide out. Means for deoxidizing purpose we have used flux in welding operation. Alloy, two or more than metals we have added in that thing is called alloy. Two or more metals we have worked together or we have added, then it is called alloy. Tensile strength means that is the stretching force, that is called tensile. Stress means unnatural state of the metal. Unnatural state means other in terms of strength of materials we are, what is stress? Stress is internal resistance per unit area, it's called, that is the stress. Here unnatural state of the metal, that is called stress. And end of this lecture, the student have learned about the classification of the welding process and types of welding joints and their characteristics.